While interviewing the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, there are two things that if we are not careful, we may not notice them. Very, very important. Two things in the topic. I don't want to say that they are more important than others or anything, but I'm saying that those 2 points are some of the very important points that if we are not careful, we may pass by without noticing them. It is good to get great details on the two. One, the story of Jumasi. The National Media Group asked the Inspector General about Jumasi and his escape from Gigiri police cells. The second thing that is equally important is to do with police training. The Inspector General insisted on training, but the interviewer was not interested in the issue. I don't blame the interviewer. I don't blame the interviewer. Recently, just this week, we had a graduation, not graduation, the calling to the bar of lawyers. And among the lawyers who are called to the bar was Linus Kaikai, a journalist. We had several engineers. We had so and so. It is good nowadays for people to have training in more than one field. It is important that nowadays we have training in more than one field. 2 weeks ago, police public relationship department of the National Police Service attended a seminar. I think it is a 1-week seminar with the KBC, where they were taught matters to do with public relationship. I'm saying this because these are police officers who were taught in Kiganjo or Embakasi on police work, prevention of crime, arresting of offenders, ABCD. But then later on, they are seconded to a department that is called Public Relationship Office of the National Police Service, of the Kenya Police Service, of the Administration Police Service, of the General Service Unit Press Service, or even the DCI Press Service. They are not journalists. Of course, they attended a 10-day seminar, but if I had my way, that department should be headed by people who have undergone at least Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, or if they've not attended before joining the police should seek for a number of vacancies in the next KIMCA, Kenya Institute of Mass Communication class, so that they are taught that. This journalist is a journalist, but this journalist from the National Media Group has never attended a police course. So the kind of questioning is slightly different, because here we had two people. The journalist approaching the information from a journalist aspect. Douglas Kanja approaching the matter from a police aspect. Now the journalist wants to trap the police officer, takes him round, and then asks a question when the police officer is not ready to catch him off guard. That is how journalists are. When it comes to police officers, generally a gazetted police officer goes on like this. He or she answers the press. Then after answering the press, he or she picks up a phone, calls me or somebody like me, says, I've been questioned by newspapers, I answered this, and I will be in the following TV station at night, or tomorrow I'll be covered in. So after I watch the TV or listen to the radio or even read the newspaper, the following day, the gazetted officer would come back to me. Do you think I misspoke? Do you think there is something that I trapped myself so that my bosses in vigilance house would take action against me? So this is a case where whenever a journalist and a police officer meet, the police officer has something in mind. The gazetted police officer has something in mind. That I should not misspeak, otherwise my bosses in Nairobi will know. As for the journalist, let me take this officer round circles and then attack him with a question so that he answers me what they do unknowingly. I know journalists are instructed to give somebody a rough idea of the topics to cover. Journalists go to an interview with a police officer with an intention of trapping him or her. And a police officer goes to an interview looking out for hidden traps. I would suggest that before the cameras roll, they have a discussion on what to cover. Because at the end of the day, it is not for the journalist's interest and it is not for the police officer's interest. It is for the masses' interest. I want now to turn to the two topics that was covered, but since the journalist was more interested in trapping the Inspector General, and the Inspector General was more looking for hidden traps, let me say this. Let us start with Jumaisi case, and then we finish off with the police training. According to Mr. Mwangi, the journalist, because when he asked a question which the Inspector General was not comfortable with, you'd see him stammering. Mr. Mwangi, let me tell you, Mr. Mwangi. According to Mr. Mwangi, he wanted to tell the Inspector General that civilians have no confidence in the police, especially in a case like somebody you might see who has killed 40 women and he is out there. That is what Mwangi and many journalists would have wanted to show. Police are useless. They're not doing their job. If they were doing their job, that man would not have been away. First of all, he would not have escaped. Two, he would have been arrested by now. The purpose for my insisting on this point is this. The Inspector General said this, said that at any given police station, and especially this particular police station, Gigiri police station, there is somebody in charge of the place 247. He said 247. Many people would rather say 24/7, isn't it? Said the place is under guard throughout. And he said that it was established the time, when he escaped. So those who were on duty at the time when he escaped are no longer in service. That was a straightforward question which would have covered that story. The only question Mr. Mwangi should have asked, why has he not been arrested? Because I've already covered that. I had the privilege of, of being a state guest in Gigiri through an abduction, and I spent there 41 hours. 41 hours. We were very few. 4. And there were more than 6 cells. There were more than 6 cells there. So you find that for 41 hours, I had plenty of time to even measure everything by footsteps. Imagine 41 hours you have no watch, 41 hours you have no phone, you don't know what time it is or whatever. You are just that way. I took that time to study that place. And what the Inspector General told Mr. Mwangi of the Nation Media Group is true. Jumanji did not escape. He was released. And if you check one of my videos, I have said that he was given, we have 21 gun salute, we have 17. Maybe he was given 13 gun salute. It is always in the odd number. Inspector General's work stops there. The National Police Service work stops there by terminating the duties of those police officers who were in Gigiri at the time when Jumanji left legal custody. There is no more that the National Police Service or even the Inspector General can do. But there is a criminal aspect of it. Just as the Inspector General was saying, there are cases which are being investigated countrywide by the Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service, by the Internal Affairs of the Kenya National Police Service. There is an investigation that is being done by the DCI. There is investigation that is done by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Unit. And there is investigations that are done by IPOA. Most of these investigations would end up in court. And things that are being investigated by those bodies and things that are being investigated, they are investigated by those bodies. The Inspector General has no control over them. Even the Internal Affairs Unit of the National Police Service, he cannot go there and direct them or instruct them to investigate quickly or slowly or left side or right side. No. He has no power. His power is he terminated those people. I will say that was very important. The only thing that maybe the police, no, did I say maybe? I should say the question that the police should be asked a lot is, why is Jumasi not been arrested or his body produced if he's dead? Because most likely he's dead. That is what the National Police Service, through the Inspector General, should answer that. I was abducted, placed in Gigiri for 41 hours, and I investigated that. I've recorded a few videos there showing Not inside the video, because that place is, you cannot record. If you record, that is it's like carrying fire and entering into a grass thatched house. I looked at it. I checked the place. There's no way. Let me tell you one thing. Most likely, he he went through the report office. Most likely went through the report office, because I said there were at least 6 cells, male cells there. There is 1 female cell aside, but there are at least 6 male cells. There is the first door into the cell. You want to tell me that he escaped from that? Then there is a corridor where half the cells are on your left and half of the cells are on your right. From the corridor, there is a door that goes to a second corridor. Now, this is the corridor that is exclusively male cells. So he opened the door to his cell alone. From there, he walked through the corridor. There is another open to a smaller cell, a smaller corridor. Now that is the second door. In the second corridor, the smallest corridor, there are 4 doors. There is the door that you come from the male cells. There is a door on the right, on the left, yeah. There is a door to the left to the female cell. Then to your front, there is a door to the sunbathing bay. Now, supposing you followed what they were saying, that he opened the door to his cell, that is one. He opened the second door to the common corridor, that is 2. And he opened the third door. And you know, the doors are not like these doors in your house, cells doors. He opened, according to those people who are trying to cheat that he escaped and whatever. He went through 3 different doors. 3 different doors from his cell, from the cell to the common corridor, and then to the sunbathing place. 3 places. And you know, passing through one is something that starts with an I in English. Impossible. Now he did 3 impossible to find himself in the sunbathing bay. Then from sunbathing bay, he had, what do we call? He had a ladder. I don't know how the ladder went there. Then went up, opened up a small square, a manhole, and then escaped. Not just him, with a dozen more foreigners. Then he walked on the rooftop. When he walked on the rooftop, when I was there for 41, when I was abducted for 41 hours, I saw there was CCTV. So I don't know whether those CCTVs were brought after Jibanchi had left or before. Then after walking on the rooftop, he had to bypass the dozen foreigners and himself had to bypass the parking lot. They had to bypass the parking lot. After bypassing the parking lot, in front of them, there is about a dozen flats, a dozen apartments, each with 8 houses. Now 8 dozens is 80 plus what? Over 100 police officers stay there. Now Jumaji and passing through, not even through, but by just side by side, you see the police quarters ahead of you, where there is over 100 police officers who are residing there. Then you turn left. You don't turn right because it is the main gate. You turn left. Then you bypass the police canteen at that time, and then go to the fence cut the fence, and then jump over to the road. And as I said, Jumaji looked like somebody who didn't know the geography of Gigiri. And I said the other dozen men were foreigners. So from there, they took off. That way is saying impossible is an understatement. Now, this is the way he used. And this is the way the are they Ethiopian or Eritreans used? From the cells, that is the first door, then the second door to the smaller corridor. Instead of going to your left is the female cells, and to your front is the sunbathing bay. They turned to the right. And when they turned to the right, they were opened the third door. Then from there is like a small walkway where you turn to the left. And from there, you now turn to the right, and you get the fourth closing. After getting the fourth closing is when you find yourself in the report office. That is when you find yourself in the report office. From report office, you have already scaled 4. Your cell, then the one to the smaller corridor, that is the second. Then from the smaller corridor on the right, there is a third. Then the fourth one is when now you enter the report office. At the report office, there is a fifth and last. So Jumaji and the dozen foreigners, they had to pass through 5. Did I say 5? There is a sixth one. The sixth one is the main gate outside the police station. You want to tell anybody that they passed through 6? I will quickly say how I say that I was abducted. 1, these people in Kiganjo, a recruit is taught 3 things when you are arresting somebody. 3 things. 1, you verify that the person you are arresting is not the twin sibling of the person to be arrested, isn't it? That one they did. Second, you identify yourself. None of those detectives either identified himself at that place, at Riruta police station. None, not even one who said, I'm so and so. No, nobody introduced himself there. So according to the law, even if I were to be taken to court, it would be a mistrial. None of them introduced himself. They just said, tumetoka Gigiri, tumekujia. Third, and the most important, first of all, they are supposed to introduce themselves. They didn't introduce themselves. Second, first of all, they are supposed to identify you. They identified me, yes. Second, they are supposed to identify themselves. They never identified themselves. People identify themselves in this way. I'm number 41877 Corporal Raphael Saya. Nobody ever introduced himself that way. That is the second. Third, the person who is being arrested is supposed to be told, we are arresting you for ABCD. Yes, you can arrest somebody for something, but later on, evidence points to another offense. A person is supposed to be arrested on a cognizable offense. A person is supposed to be arrested on cognizable offense. Cognizable, recognized, that is becoming obvious. You get somebody, you arrest him or her because of you have seen him stealing, or you have been told he has done ABCD. So you have to be told we are arresting you for this. During the investigation, things may change. That is why you hear things like holding charge, or even as they are giving evidence, or their further investigation, evidence may come up and find a more serious charge may be preferred to you. Or it may be discovered that in the course of in the course of in investigation and so on, something else serious or less serious. You can be charged with something, and during the case they say they find that from your statement you are accepting a lesser charge, and then they find that instead of pursuing a very serious case which you may escape through. So I think I've explained there. But me, I was not told why I had been arrested. I told Madam OCS Riruta in the presence of her deputy inspector, I said, I don't know why I have been arrested, and I don't know who is the complainant. I repeated that 3 times while I was in handcuffs, in the presence of those thugs. I can call them thugs. Madam OCS and her deputy. I can't blame the deputy, because if your boss is there, you can't come up and start say, hey, by the way, the suspect is telling. No. I said it 3 times, and on the 3 occasions, I told her they were there. She had them, they had them. She never even once, Madam OCS Riruta, never even once told them that, can you tell the person why you have arrested? No, she just kept quiet. I want to say that she was corrupted, because my so-called complainant is a lady who believes in bribing people left, right, and center. I want to say that, but you see, legally I cannot say that, because I have no proof that she was bribed. But then it shows incompetence, isn't it? Don't you think it is better to be called corrupt than incompetent? Don't you think so? Anyway, I told her 3 times I wanted to be told 2 things. One, I even didn't want to know who the police officers were. Mine was to know what offense I'm charged with, and 2, who is the complainant. They didn't say. So that is why I say it is abduction. Then lastly, the law says that within 24 hours of being arrested, the person is taken to court, and when the person is taken to court and charged, the police may request the court to hold him or her for further investigation. I was arrested on a Monday, 8 p.m., released on Wednesday, 1 p.m. 41 hours, never taken to court. 41 hours being taken round DCI lab. The CCTVs are there. What do we call? The SAFARICOM can even place us, me and those officers, going around. My family was in Milimani waiting for me to appear in court. Nothing like that happened. I was being taken around the court, whatever. That one I've covered. That is why I dare say that I was abducted. 41 hours. Was not taken to court. Anyway, so some things you become so emotional. So, as I said, it gave me an opportunity to go and properly look at and the very many times I would visit them. You see my phone, my iPhone, yeah. Acha nikwambie, iPhone ndiye imeua huyo kijana wa. My iPhone never went to DCI for forensic test. No. It was with these people. Because how can my iPhone be carried to the DCI invest? And regularly it used to withdraw money. It used to withdraw money at the You see, they had my iPhone, so whenever I would visit, they would give me the phone. Able finya balance because you people pay me through nini pay bill, till number. So able finya na ni wajinga, naambia imekuja ngapi? 300, enda utoe. So going first of all going to Gigiri, going and coming back twice a week. Each visit was more than 300. But then the phone the iPhone that is supposed to be in Kiambu Road at the lab, it's withdrawing money from the police canteen. Anyway, I want to thank those crooks who are calling themselves detectives for giving me an opportunity to be at that place and ask myself how Jumaji left that place. I am contented. I am contented with the answer that Inspector General gave to. I'm contented with the answer the Inspector General gave to Nation Media Group, that at every given time, 24/7, there is somebody at the police station. And when that man and others disappeared, those who are on duty that time are no longer in service. I'm contented with that. I dare say that he could never answer more because he cannot jail them. It is for the, and he cannot hasten the investigation. Let me tell you, if he hastens the investigation, then these people would not, these people would be given an opportunity to go to court and say that it is a mistrial. So that one we are contented with. Last thing about my abduction, we had a land case near Giraffe Center, between Giraffe Center and Cooperative University. I don't think I won the case. Let us be very sincere. I did not win the case. It is my cousin who lost the case. Because I remember the land judge telling her lawyer, it was just obvious. And I remember the judge asking her lawyer, are you not advising your client? And the lawyer said, I am advising the client. You know, this is a lady who thinks that when she has money, everybody, even the law will follow her. So the judge asked the lawyer, have you not advised your client? The lawyer said, I have advised your client. Then the judge turned to my cousin and asked, did your lawyer advise you on this? She said, no, he has not advised me. Well, any lawyer, of course, this lawyer was after the money, because any other lawyer would have resigned, would have just said, no, I cannot advise you, and then use it. But then he agreed to swallow that because of the money that my cousin was to give. So that case, that land case at Koitobos Road was, in many cases, it is not my side that won, it is my cousin who lost. Because we were to prove that my aunt left, there was a cousin of mine we were trying to prove that she's there, but we were unable to prove. And this is how we won the case. So we were told that in Kenya, you cannot just claim that there is a third person here without producing ID, without producing any documentation. Then she was given a right of reply. These people have said that you have a sister who is based in Germany. What do you want? You see, in a court case where both sides agree, even if, let's say in a court, the two sides are arguing, and then you say this thing happened on 30th February this year. It happened on 30th February this year. If both sides agree it happened on, the court can't say, oh, no, no, no. I'm only giving an exaggerated remark. So when we said that she has a sister who is based in Germany, and she was asked, You see, these people have said you have a sister. What can you say? She said, huyu alienda alihama Kenya zamani sana 1980. So what was said? Even if you revoke your citizenship, you cannot revoke your inheritance. That is what was passed. Now we were waiting for her to appeal, and then she had to use a lot of money. And I still insist, if anybody who watches this video from Riruta, I don't want to say that Madam OCS Riruta was bribed. No, that one I'll be forced to prove. But if she can be incompetent to that extent, then it is even better to have been bribed than somebody just coming and you are asked. I have not been told what I am suspected to have gone wrong. I have not been told who my accuser is. 3 times and she kept quiet. Hata kama wewe ni cousin ya Bongei, because that is what I'm always being told, that she has been backtracked, what do you call, fast tracked, because she's related through blood with Bongei. I am a son of a former police officer. Unakusaidiwa na mkubwa wako, but hiyo ingine unajifanyia. So the second thing that the Inspector General talked, which was equally important, or even more important than the escape of Jumanji and the foreigner, he repeated more than 4 times. He repeated more than 4 times when he talked about training. As I've said, the journalist, Mr. Mwangi, was more interested in catching the Inspector General off guard. More than, at the end of the day, we should fight for the police to be better off tomorrow than it was yesterday. And one of the many ways of making the police better tomorrow than yesterday is through constant training. I now know why in interviews on TV stations, somebody is usually given water there. What the Inspector General was emphasizing repeatedly was on training. He talked about it more than 4 times. But Mwangi of the National Media Group was more interested in trapping him than making the police more interesting. During my time, I don't know where the raid started beating us. During my time, we had things that are called PTC, Provincial Training Centers. In each provinces except Western had a PTC. Mombasa had a PTC, I think in Baraki, I'm not sure. Eastern province, I don't know where it was, I can't cheat. Central province, they had a PTC, Provincial Training Center, in Ruringu. Nyanza and Western provinces had Provincial Training Center in Kisumu. Rift Valley had a PTC opposite the State House. Railways had a PTC in Makindu. If you look at the police during my time, the change of law was not as drastic as today. Every 6 months, there is a new law coming. If not 6 months, 1 year, there is a new law coming. And somehow in Garissa, we had PTC in near the government, Lamu Road, near the government the provincial commissioner's office. In the pity in today's time, we are having very many new laws coming. Cyber security, we are having new laws coming up each and every day. Sometimes even 2 laws are per day. If during those times of 80s, police officers used to attend a refresher course, nowadays they don't. Who stopped them and why? You know, when you have a minister, a state minister like Murkomen, a very forceful individual, and you have a very polite inspector general like Kanja, these things may not be seen. You may not notice this thing. Uh, this thing started before Ruto became the president. It does not mean that Ruto cannot reintroduce them. Sincerely speaking, you know, those days, people used to attend refresher course 4 weeks. In 4 years, you had to attend a 4-week course. We now have people who have spent over 12 years without going to class. And if they have gone to class, they have gone on a promotional course. If somebody is going to Kiganjo for a promotion course or Embakasi, they are being trained. For example, if you are a constable, you are going to be trained on how to be a section commander. If you are an NCO and you are attending an inspector's course, you are going to be trained to be a platoon commander. If you are an inspector and you are attending a promotion course, you are attending a course that is called station commander's course, and so on and so forth. These promotional trainings are there to tell you that you are no longer that junior officer, you are now a senior, the way to handle. Yes, you are introduced to upcoming new and introduced topics here and there. Yes, you are told. You are taught here and there, once or twice. But the emerging security threats and all. But a police officer needs constant. Ikiwa imeenda sana 4 years, imeenda 4 years. Each 4 years, the police officer should attend at least 1 month's training. And the thing that should be, the syllabus should cover only 2 things. One, the emerging security environment and handling of weapons. I remember very well, the Inspector General was asked by Mr. Mwangi that, bearing in mind of what had happened, don't you think the police would have performed better during the GC? And he said repeatedly, yes. And he said one of the reasons is that training. Surely, how can you get a police officer? There are those who have not been promoted. And even those who have been promoted, they went there for. Now, you see, if you are an inspector, now you're being told if you are an OCS, now your work would be, this is how you are supposed to talk to the OCPD, this is how you are supposed to plan crime, patrol and whatever. Little or no time is given to emerging things or even handling of firearms. I can tell you, ask any police officer whom you find with a gun. Me, if I ask, it will be a problem. Because the police may mistake me trying to understand that he has spent for a long time without just cleaning the gun and walking with it. But the police officers are supposed to, at least every 4 years, all of them. Nowadays, we have so many police. During my time, we had the GSU training facilities, the AP training facilities, and the Kenya Police training facilities, of course, South Sea. Kenya Police had South Sea, they had Kiganjo only. Now we have Loresho, we have Ngong, we have so many. Every time, every given time, police officers should have training. Remember, we have police officers. This thing that is called the Jukwaa la Wananchi that Murkomen went around. I was shocked. You find a chief has worked for 5 years and he has never, he's just given uniform and ambia utajipanga. We have police officers right now who have served the police service for a dozen years, 12 years. And when they left Kiganjo, they have never gone for any seminar or anything. And for the last 12 years, this is 2025, the last 12 years is when? Last 12 years is 2012, when we started the new constitution. Refresher courses are good because imagine when you are a recruit, you are a civilian, you are just told this is an OB. This is how it is feel. Now you go to the field and give the instructors feedback on how things are. That is one, feedback. Two, you also have time to come up with the new and emerging security threats. You can tell the teacher, Mwalimu, when I was a recruit, we did not have the cybercrime. How is it affecting me and the people? You'd be taught about cybercrime. And three, and the last time, you have also to be taught about, you see, guns, even if it, let me tell you one thing. The last time I touched a G3 was when I was a police officer. From the day I left police service, I've never even touched it, leave alone squeezing the trigger. So, what I know about guns, even if you are an expert in that kind of a gun, I can tell you today, if I'm given a G3, people would be shocked. They'd even ask, when you're a policeman, were you ever taught how to handle G3? So even if it is the gun that you are used to, you are supposed to practice it regularly. But then there are even new emerging guns. There are new emerging guns. You have to be taught about that. So what I read, the second equally, even more important than Jumaji escape, is the story about training. And I remember, if I can remember very well, the Inspector General was saying that you cannot train people without funds. You cannot train people without funds. I can dare say that most of those stray bullets, a good number may have been mishandling of the firearm by the police officer. Why did they mishandle it? What else do you expect? Somebody who has worked for, okay, there are those people who work in hardship areas. There are those people who work in West Pokot, Turkana, all the way to Mandera, Wajir, and to Lamu. But we have people, and then we also have people who are in the urban areas like Nairobi, Mombasa, and so on. Those ones have used the gun against moving targets, not those targets in the college. But over 80% of them is somebody who is taken to Kabras police station. From Kabras is taken to Kitui police station. From Kitui is taken to Kiamariga, 12 years. He's working with a firearm which can even be turned against him. And a good percentage of firearms that killed Jinsi were by police officers who have panicked and who for so many years have never handled a live target. Kwa hayo mengi, Mungu awabariki. Amin.